Howdy, I'm Derek, and in this video, I'm going to show you how you can spill almost any formula in Excel with just a little bit of creativity. If you haven't used any of Excel's new dynamic array functions to spill multiple results across cells down, to the right, or both, then you are really missing out because it completely changes the game and how you can build Excel, make things dynamic and automatic, and reduce the risk of errors. To show you a basic example, let's say we have a list of data right here and we want to automatically add a counting formula, okay? Now I've got a macro that does this very quickly, insert a counter formula, and it says how many rows do you want to consider using? And you can set your default. Now 1500 is usually well enough for me, so I'm going to use that. And notice that it creates a spilling formula using sequence and it goes down to the bottom. Now if we were to copy a bunch of cells, notice it expands to the very last one because it's basically saying, hey, it should go from this first row all the way until the number of cells that we're counting between rows B2 and B1502. Okay, so very basic. Most people know how to do that have used DAFs before. But what's a little trickier is taking the guts of a formula and spilling that's not natively spilling. Okay, what I've used to do in my past is notice this. I've got this formula here with some if statements, and I would copy this down, several rows below what I would need, and it looks like it works. But notice that it's got a bunch of blanks, which kind of stinks when you're trying to see if a cell is blank or not. The value is blank, but there's still something there, and those are two different things in Excel. So rather than take that approach, let's delete this. Now notice what's left, okay? So we're basically saying, hey, in column C, if that equals copy and paste, then override this, otherwise use what's in column D. Okay, so we're referring to two other columns in this that are within the same row, and that's kind of key to how this works. So what we want to do is toggle this into a spilled formula. Okay, and this does a very similar exercise. We can say how far down we want to go using the number references, the row references we find, or columns rather. And notice that it automatically spills, okay, very much like that sequence formula did. Okay, and if we add more, it's going to go all the way to the bottom. It's going to extend. Now the magic of this happens where we're replacing that C2 with a combination of offset, max, and count A. So basically we're saying, hey, we want to start with cell C2. Where's the end of that? We need to find C44 in this case, or wherever that might be based on what the last cell is, and we want it to use that. So max and max and offset are doing that. We're starting with C2. We're saying what's the max of either nothing or the results using count A, and it's using that to spill it. And it's doing the same thing over here with column D. Okay, so it's using the references, kind of evaluating that, and it's flipping it. And what's neat is this particular formula can also work in reverse. So say, hey, it looks like you've got some spilling components here, offset, max, and count A. Let's remove those. So you can toggle it back and forth, and this uses a macro that evaluates your formula to say, hey, do we want to spill or not? We could do the same thing when there's even, notice that this one has an XLOOKUP component, okay? So if we want to toggle this spill, again, how far down do we want it to go? And it's going to spill it for us. If we want to put the one back over here on the side, we can absolutely do that as well. Where do we want to go? Okay, so let's compare these formulas real quick and wrap up. Before, in this first one that's in column A, we had if C2 equals whatever, then otherwise D2. Notice what it changes to, okay? The C2 is a combination of offset, max, and count A, trying to return where's the bottom of this so that we can spill to that. The same thing goes for the D2 reference. And then in this other one that uses an XLOOKUP, it's leveraging D2 and it's just putting the same thing in place. Notice how it's the same here in that second formula as it is in the first formula at the last part. So you can get a little bit creative and you can make just about anything spilling. And the reason I made this a toggle is because one, sometimes people don't understand how this works. They might want to see what it looked like before. And two, if you've got a really big file full of stuff, maybe the dynamic array formula approach is not maybe the best way to go. Now, if you want to take a look at this completed file, take a look at the link in the comment section below where you can get a copy of this file so you can use that as an example. If you want to be able to toggle it this easily, just like I have, check out the other link below where you can try out the Accelerate add-in, like you're seeing up here at the top, that has hundreds of little shortcuts like this, where you can take these approaches in one step, assign them to a keyboard shortcut if you want, or leverage the search box, variety of ways to run these very quickly. The goal is to save time and make Excel better than you ever thought it could be. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please share it with a friend, give it a like, add a comment, and of course, thanks for watching. Have an awesome rest of your day.